Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. Andy Byron was born in 1974 and lived in Northborough, Massachusetts. This is 37 miles west of Boston. He graduated from Providence College in Rhode Island and worked in the technology industry for many years. He was married to a woman named Megan, and they had 2 children. In July 2023, Andy Byron started working as the CEO of Astronomer. This privately held company in New York, which is valued at over $1 billion, builds data management and optimization products. Their goal is to empower your team to build, run, and observe data pipelines that just work, all from one place. In November 2024, Andy hired a woman named Kristen Cabot to serve as the Chief People Officer. Kristen had a bachelor's degree in political science from Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania. In a press release, Andy praised his selection by saying, quote, "Kristen's exceptional leadership and deep expertise in talent management, employee engagement, and scaling people strategies will be critical as we continue our rapid trajectory. She is a proven leader at multiple growth stage companies, and her passion for fostering diverse, collaborative workspaces makes her a perfect fit for Astronomer," unquote. Kristen also released a statement saying, quote, "I prefer to think of my role as people strategy versus traditional human resources, as the real magic happens when you align the people strategy with the business strategy. There are plenty of companies out there where a leadership team doesn't recognize the value that a strong people leader and people team can bring to a company. It's not just about benefits or catered lunches. There's so much more to it, and I was energized in my conversations with Andy and the Astronomer leadership team about the opportunities that exist here," unquote. On her now deleted LinkedIn page, Kristen wrote, quote, "An influential leader and fearless change agent, I lead by example and win trust with employees of all levels, from CEOs to managers to assistants," unquote. Kristen was married to a man named Kenneth Thornby. They separated in 2018. Their divorce was finalized in 2022. At some point, Kristen married a man named Andrew Cabot, who is the CEO of an alcohol producer called Privateer Rum. In February 2025, Kristen and Andrew purchased a $2.2 million house in Rye, New Hampshire. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On Wednesday, July 16, 2025, the band Coldplay was performing at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. This is 26 miles south of Boston. Both Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot were at this concert together. When Coldplay was performing the song Yellow, an image was captured from someone in the crowd that appeared to show the couple kissing. Later in the performance, Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin asked for the camera operators to scan the crowd for his Jumbotron song. For this routine, he sings a few lines about each couple captured in a shot. It's supposed to be entertaining. Little did anybody know how entertaining this one would be. The camera was directed at Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot. Andy was standing behind Kristen and had his arms wrapped around her midsection. Kristen appeared to be leaning back into Andy. This pose suggested that they were more than just colleagues or even friends. They may have been romantically involved. When Andy and Kristen saw themselves on the big screen, Kristen's jaw dropped, and she appeared to be stunned. Kristen covered her face with her hands before spinning away from the camera. Andy crouched down out of the shot. A few seconds later, Kristen moved to get out of the frame. Chris Martin reacted to the unusual behavior by saying either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. A few moments later, Chris said, "I hope we didn't do something bad." When a concertgoer posted a video of the incident on social media, an intense level of interest was generated. This led to people posting false information about the incident, including a fake statement from Andy Byron. Andy and Kristen deleted their LinkedIn profiles. Andy's wife Megan changed her last name on Facebook before deleting her Facebook account. The Astronomer Board of Directors released a statement which read, quote, "Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability. The board of directors has initiated a formal investigation into this matter, and we will have additional details to share very shortly. Alyssa Stoddard was not at the event, and no other employees were in the video. Andy Byron has not put out any statement. Reports saying otherwise are all incorrect, unquote. The board mentioned Alyssa Stoddard because social media users had falsely claimed that she was the embarrassed woman seen next to Kristen on the Jumbotron. Both Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot have been put on leave. At the time I'm making this video, the investigation continues. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. It is reasonable to believe that Andy and Kristen were having an affair and that both of them were fully aware of this. When an affair only involves one married person, there may be some doubt as to whether the other affair partner knew about the marriage. Therefore, one person could be responsible and the other person could be innocent. In this case, both Andy and Kristen are married, so neither one could act like they didn't know they were having an affair. There has been no mention of how much money Andy or Kristen earn in their jobs, but I imagine they both did pretty well from a compensation standpoint. When some people have affairs, they're not really risking a whole lot, like they may not have much to lose. This is not the case with Andy and Kristen. It seems pretty likely they will no longer be employed by Astronomer when all this is over. This demonstrates the intensity and seductiveness of infidelity. The couple must have known if they were caught, they would lose their jobs, and getting another job at that same level would be very difficult. In the future, when they apply to work somewhere, a quick search of the internet by the company will reveal this whole Coldplay kiss cam scandal. What company is going to want that negative publicity? It's just easier to hire someone else. C-suite roles are not that difficult to fill. Andy and Kristen were risking everything by allegedly having an affair, but they could have at least been diligent about concealing their activity. Instead, they decided to attend a Coldplay concert. The couple may have unknowingly purchased the most expensive concert tickets in history. Everybody knows that a concert is a public event. There is no expectation of privacy in a place like that. Gillette Stadium makes this pretty clear in a disclaimer, which reads, quote, "When you visit our location or attend or participate in an event at our location, we may capture your image, voice, and or likeness, including through the use of CCTV cameras and or when we film or photograph you in a public location," unquote. Item number 2, the confusing part of this story is how these two highly trained leaders of industry couldn't figure out how to diffuse the whole Jumbotron situation. Instead of acting shocked and trying to get out of the frame, they could have simply acted normally. This way they would not have aroused suspicion. Yes, their faces would have been on the Jumbotron, and someone could have recognized them, but in all likelihood, the alleged affair would have remained a secret. By reacting dramatically and trying to hide, they guaranteed scrutiny and thereby sealed their fate. Their demonstration of crisis management skills was not impressive. Item number 3, many people who viewed the video believe the behavior exhibited by Andy and Kristen is disgusting. Not only did the couple potentially destroy their families, they brought negative attention to the company they work for, and their actions were inappropriate for corporate leaders. A small number of people, however, view this case differently. They look at the alleged affair and say, this is none of our business. For example, an article in the Washington Post referred to the attention Andy and Kristen received as a shame campaign and implied that the cancel culture was responsible. They also claimed that Andy did not have a public persona, implying that he should therefore be left alone. Here's how I look at this. If the only thing that Andy and Kristen did was allegedly have an affair, then there is some merit to the argument that the situation should be ignored. The problem is, that's not all that was allegedly happening. They were both corporate executives who had a responsibility to abide by a moral code to protect the interest of the company who employed them. This was a lot more than an alleged affair. By blatantly attending a concert, these two showed a reckless disregard for their obligations. It's not like a reporter photographed them through a window at a hotel or something like that. These two were in a public place. The negative attention that has been directed toward them is warranted. In a sense, they did everything but issue a formal request for this to happen. Item number 4. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Andy and Kristen decided to have an affair knowing that it was destructive. They believed they were entitled to violate societal norms. They were special and deserved to have everything they wanted. The same nonsensical and overconstructed jargon that these corporate executives use to describe their skills is reflected in their infidelity. The relationship was an embodiment of their own recklessness, selfishness, sensation-seeking, and high level of irresponsibility. They were so confident in their ability to escape detection, they went to a concert together. By going to see Coldplay, they demonstrated a bold play. Now moving to my final thoughts. Corporate executives tend to use inflated and convoluted language when describing themselves, which is designed to indicate how important and special they are. It's almost an art form, albeit one based on shameless self-promotion and a profound lack of insight. As I reviewed how Kristen portrayed herself professionally, I could not help but notice she was underselling the unique value she brought to her position as Chief People Officer. In an effort to do her justice, I took the liberty of rewriting her summary to more accurately reflect her contributions. Here's what I came up with. Kristen Cabot is an expert in scaling CEOs and knows how to leverage internal assets to stimulate rapid vertical growth and activate every inch of the leadership pipeline. Then collaboratively align, tap, and penetrate highly sensitive resources across horizontal platforms to ensure maximum engagement, stamina, and fluid distribution at every release point. Her deeply hands-on techniques are immersive, frictionless, and fully optimized for seamless insertion across every available zone of entry in the executive system. Those are my thoughts on the case of Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Just a reminder that I have over 300 pre-release videos on my Patreon account. These videos are of the same quality as the videos I release to the public. When I put a video in pre-release status on Patreon, it usually stays there for several months, if not a year. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video.